This video is a little sad because this Hurricane Ian, came through and just destroyed everything in Florida, and it ultimately killed some of my fish. So unfortunately, I was away in Senegal and London, and I wasn't home, so I couldn't take care of my fish or see what was happening, and my family was doing the best that they could to make sure that all the fish were okay. Ultimately, some fish did die and I couldn't do much. So this is the 90-gallon discus tank. The problem I had with this tank was that I was treating the clown loaches for like a bacteria before I left, and I wasn't fully able to complete the treatment before leaving. I'm not sure if I've lost one. This guy was the one I was worrying about. I'm still treating with medications and whatnot, so hopefully he doesn't have any issues. The tank is not heavily stocked. The plants in all the tanks, some did better, some did worse. This tank is very hot, so the biggest concern for this tank is when the power goes out is that the oxygen depletes really quickly before the tank can cool down. But overall, the fish are doing pretty well, other than the clown loaches that were sick beforehand, and none of the discus were lost, so that's really nice. You know, I care about like all my fish, but of course you got your favorites, and these I've had for a while, and they're also quite expensive. But so the 65-gallon, I lost, I believe, one loach, like one Hillstream loach, and maybe another one. It's hard to tell because there's so many plants in all the tanks and so many fish. If you don't see the body, it's going to be hard to tell if you lost one, because I don't see all the fish all the time anyways. Like these loaches, I rarely see unless it's feeding time. This number is how I was telling my family when I was away how many scoops of pellets to feed. I fed all my fish except the discus just like cichlid pellets because all the fish would eat it, and the discus ate fiber bites. But the angels are doing well. This guy I left in timeout because I didn't know what he was going to do when I was gone, and when I released him before leaving, he was just being a real jerk to the rest. I can release him and see if he's going to behave himself. But they're doing well. All right, the African cichlid 125-gallon, it's doing well. I just added these rocks in because I lost one catfish, I believe. It's hard to tell. I only saw the body when I got home, and it was just like a week long, so I don't know at what point the power went out and I came back. The catfish have been struggling to have like enough cave space. They don't like swimming out and about. I did reduce the lighting in here so they feel comfortable, but overall they're fighting for space, so I just added the rock. So far it looks like one fish, one catfish or one cichlid. Again, African cichlids get super aggressive when you don't feed them, and without the power, I'm not feeding them. So 40-gallon bristlenose and white cloud tank, it did pretty well. I actually think this tank probably did the best because of so many plants in there and how understocked it is. The only issue I found is they ate my pink flamingo. They ate the pink flamingo cryptocorns because there wasn't like food going into the tank. Unfortunately, this plant is just kind of rough in that one. All the leaves are chewed. The babies are still okay, which I'm really happy about. They're just chilling. They're getting bigger. I gotta feed more and get rid of some of the snails in here, but yeah. And then like this plant over here, the red one, actually started growing, so that was surprising considering the lights were off. So some plants, I noticed the red plants did better without power. Like they grew faster for whatever reason without much light. This tank, okay, this 40-gallon, I lost fish. And I didn't expect it, and there's a lot of fish in here. So the fish I lost were the Burchardes. So I originally started this like Burchardi colony with 5. At one point, I lost one. I don't know what happened to it. I never saw a body, and I never found it on the floor. And then there was the 2 others, like one male and one female. This pair was okay with the other female for the most part. The male, they were really aggressive towards, and so I added these tiger barbs and everything to help curb the aggression. And before I left, they were all okay. However, when I left, now the fish got, like the pair got super aggressive. They want to make sure there's enough food for the babies, and I think they just went on a killing spree and took out the other 2 because they saw them as competition, even though they were really cool with them before. But yeah, so that's a little unfortunate because I was going to form another pair, but it is what it is. Hopefully these guys spawn or have a batch soon. I don't think the babies will be able to raise up with all the fish, but if they're spawning, then that's a good sign. But the good news in this tank, though, is the plecos laid eggs. So these plecos, the day after I get back, I come home and the eggs are just sitting in this corner right here. And they're just chilling. And this means like the male kicked the eggs out of the cave. And I think like with the storm and everything, it induced them to spawn. It just got them really ready. A lot of fish react to storms and the pressure of the atmosphere and whatnot to spawn. So that was really exciting, meaning that they're laying eggs. Unfortunately, the babies didn't hatch, but I got the eggs in a net all the way back there. So I got the eggs and I put them, I don't know if you guys can see this very well, but right there are the eggs. I put them in a net. I collected what I could find and I put them in like a net above the air so that they don't grow fungus, hopefully. So I might be able to hatch them this way. Ideally, I just put them in a different tank. I need water flow by the eggs, so this is mimicking what the dad would be doing. So hopefully they hatch. It takes like 3 to 4 days, I think I looked it up, but none of them look to be fungusing. So once they hatch, that'd be really exciting. Hopefully they hatch. I'll keep you guys updated on that. The guppery Endler tank. I don't think I lost any in here. I actually think they spawned more and I saw a lot more babies. The only thing I noticed that they were acting funny when I did one of the water changes. Only this tank, all the other fish were pretty much fine. So it might have been something in the water, but not too sure. So in this tank, I lost the big mom a day or two after, and I think it might have been the water change that bothered these guys. It didn't bother the discus or anything else, and I had done other water changes, but you can see all the snails on the body. Circle of life, where you can see all the snails eating the mother, you know, of the babies and everything. Then this tank, the panda guppies, I think they spawned as well. Like you can see quite a few little babies just swimming around, doing their thing. I did lose 1 or 2. This tank was sick before I left, still sick, treating with medication. The water change probably didn't help, just because if the other guys were, you know, showing little signs, you know, any weak ones might have not done well. I lost about 7 fish. Corey actually jumped out of the 65 gallon, I just remembered. So it is what it is. I think a lot of the fish are stressed, you know, when you don't have the running water, the filters and things like that. The tank goes through a lot of fluctuations. Although I did lose some fish, and that is sad, it doesn't compare to the other people that have lost, you know, their livelihoods or homes, and, you know, they aren't able to sleep anywhere. So I'm very grateful and fortunate that there wasn't much more damage done to me or my family. You know, send prayers and best wishes to those families that are struggling from the hurricane.